All right. Good morning, cyber traders. Welcome on back here this Wednesday, not Thursday. This morning I woke up, I thought today was Thursday. I got hit pretty hard with reality there. Great to see everyone this Wednesday, February 7th, though. All of our students, members alike inside our live trading room. Just give me a quick chat back. Let me know if you can hear me loud and clear. And of course, on social media at CyberTradingU just as well. No webcam today, but otherwise we are good to go. Otherwise, have a nice breakfast actually next to me here. Bit of a mess in my home office right now with that in mind, so don't want to show you that. But with that said, though, at CyberTradingU is the handle. Just make sure to follow and subscribe to our YouTube channel right there at CyberTradingU. And then we look forward to seeing you inside our live trading room, at least with Charles, Ray, Brad, Kevin, Rich, Bill, Mark, Kathleen, Eric. Wayne had a good morning today. Alicia, Grant, Michael, all of our students there. Now, with that said, well, I hope everyone had a pretty good morning, because although it's not like an easy stock, it wasn't like a level 1 stock, the playbook was given to you here on this hollow trade, right? And if you don't think so, or if you're like, all right, well, I kind of got here late, what is he talking about? Let's go over this move. Because if you join us early in the morning, well, we suggest for you to just catch up with the chat board, read the chat, and see what we're calling out, the iceberg levels at that point. So I'm going to make a few little snippets here. I'm going to show all of us, even on YouTube here, just kind of what we're posting throughout the morning. This was just the first call out post on the morning. My colleague Rich on Hollow posting the news on it. Micro Cloud Hologram says it's planning to join the Communications Industry Association, whatever that means. Well, it led to a pretty big pop actually right away, and we trade the reaction at first, right? It was more of like a early in the morning move, and then by 7 o'clock it popped again, and hey, we'll put it on our pre-market watch list, right? But this stock had two things with it in mind, though, that we had to focus on. A, support resistance, right? I mean, just if anything, this had a pretty big resistance up top, 11,000 share iceberg early in the morning at 381. But the other thing that I said was, well, hey, this is also a super low float stock, like very, very low float. This is dangerous. You don't want to get caught slipping on this trade. Lower highs will make for a big lower low, big. And with that, this was after 8 o'clock at 8:24 in the morning. It was pretty much right before it happened, but it stalled out here and then led to a big drop. More of a local lower low. Support broke, led to like a 25, 30 cent drop. So you don't want to be a part of that, right? But at that stage, though, we ended up seeing resistance get broken over again later in the morning. It was off at $3 at that point. It was two prices. In fact, I think it was $2.88, and then also 3. So once it broke above 3, all right, well, hey, now we have a chance for this to try and make a move up towards that 380. So that's where I was kind of saying, all right, well, level by level, if this could hold above, let's say 320, let's take a look here. Oh, actually, really quick, I'll show you this on level 4 coming up. I'll bring up level 4, the heat map, but I just want to show you our call outs that we make in our chat board. Why it's so important to just, read it, watch it, live if you're a student like Alan or Ravina, Ray. So right away at 8:45, I said, well, wait a second. We just saw this big iceberg order pop up suddenly at 303, a 28,000 share iceberg on the buy side, potential support. Well, at that point, shortly after, at 8:45, 8:50 in the morning, just led to a big move, perfect move off that iceberg. Now, hey, if it could hold above 320, then there's a chance to see that 380, that iceberg that we had called out earlier in the morning. And with that, the cookie crumbled well. It was a pretty good trade. Really nice move on this one. I don't want to say easy because, it's a more thinly traded stock. It's a very low float stock also. So, if you did well on this trade, congratulations. It's the type of stock that, hey, you should look to make more than that 5 or 10 cent, move off consolidation. Just like I preach almost every hour of every day. When a stock breaks through a big level, we should be getting a big move. So I know Wayne capitalized on that. He got a good chunk of it. So with that said, hey, if Hollow will add to our main list, but it's very low float. So would it shock me if this ends up completely crashing back down at this point? Not one bit. Not one bit. Just make sure that you have your levels prepped as far as where the next support is. I would say look for 3, not even as much 320-ish where it did consolidate from earlier. Let's see if we can get 3 or even lower, like, back down towards where we had support here, like 268. That's a ways away from where it's trading now. But again, it's low float. Big trees fall hard. Look what happened even back in summer of last year, August, September time of last year. Obviously, it popped up, and I don't know if it was even at these prices. It could have been a reverse stock split afterwards. Like, these are inflated prices, but you just see what happened after it made an extended move up, right? That's the point. So, hey, Hollow, I hope you did well on it earlier today. We'll readjust on this move once the market does open. I would not suggest for anyone to still be in this thing. Let the stock, breathe a bit, give the stock a chance to breathe, and give yourself a chance to breathe, right, and relax. So, with that said, in GLT, this is also another nice little mover, at least prior to 8 o'clock. It wasn't like a 4 in the morning move where just like no one's there to trade it. This, at least if you're on Thinkorswim, other main brokerages, TradeStation at 8 o'clock, they should probably look to try and move to 7 at some point soon. But otherwise, if you're on Thinkorswim or most other main brokerages, you're able to jump in on this early from like $2 up towards basically 3. This is the one. This is the one that had the resistance at 288. So this I had mentioned earlier. I'll bring up Bookmap for this one. Notice this big dot, green dot right there. It's 120,000 share fill. Now, with that said, it's pre-market. You can't use market orders with that in mind, right? So is that a dark pool? Is that just, one giant buyer just coming in with limit order there? Well, it looks like it, but what was the reaction immediately afterwards? Well, it didn't go up. It dropped, right? So we more so follow the reaction afterwards. And here, well, hey, if it ends up blasting right above this 287, 288 by the time the market opens up or after, game on. But if it does break above it and it makes a very underwhelming move, that's where you start spinning your gears and you're thinking, well, shoot, like, what if that really isn't buying? Well, if that's not buying, then what is it? Well, you know what it is then if it's not buying, right? If it's not buying, it would then be potential selling. So that's where we say look at the reaction after. It wasn't a positive reaction, at least. There could be more time for this move. So again, it's creaking back up. It's showing us that it's trying to make another push back up towards that resistance. So yeah, GLT, I'll add with the hollow heading into the open. I think this is the one that had the higher float of the two. This actually, the float on this wasn't like horrible. Yeah, 42, 43 million share float, for all intents and purposes, like we've traded a lot lower, like looking at this, or I remember a stock from earlier this week, INBS, if we run into it, it's under 1 million shares, microscopic, I'd rather not, but if it's showing good direction and if it has at least a decent order book, all right, well, I'll give it a look then, right? That's kind of how we play it out. Now, let's just continue to go through here. Hey, I'm going to start off some cheap trades there. But how about Enphase? ENPH coming off earnings, I believe, led to a nice little pop in the after hours. More expensive stock. You could trade the options on it. I could add this to our main list here as well. Doesn't hurt. If you're going to be trading a more expensive stock, then do it just on extremely small size. Or if you're going to do option calls, then just trade based off the iceberg levels that you see here going into the open. If you have level 3, level 4, then obviously look into it right now and take the time to prep up this chart. Same to be said with Roblox. Roblox had a big pop coming off earnings. At least this was at 8 o'clock this morning. So from 40 or 39 basically up to like 47, 48 bucks. Pretty good move. We like that, right? So, hey, I'm going to just right away add Roblox to our main list. It's also one that we're more familiar with. It's not like this is as expensive as Enphase. We've actually traded this in the past on and off. We're familiar with this one. I would more so focus on dollar levels for this trade. Just clean every dollar. And then even at that point, just look at where it's consolidating right now. $5 level, 45, right? So, even further, $5 increments like, 40, 45, 50 up top would be pretty strong to work off of today. All right, Girardi, GRDI, my New York in me, my New York Yankees in me. Not looking as good. SEDG, keep it going here, folks. We'll just kind of skim through this list now. My scanner did refresh on me just before. Had a good pop on BDRX. Rich had called that out right away. It was a great call, but, this is kind of where I say we don't control the weather. At least we control what we call out. If it looks good in the moment, Hey, why not? It has a good order book, but this one even still just dumped right back down within 10, 12 minutes after. So if it's not going to hold, if it's not going to push up higher, then don't get caught holding, right? That's basically how we teach it. All right, we keep it going though. Here you got MOR here. This one we ended up doing pretty well on 2 days back, and it's back up again this morning, up like 5+%. So you know what? This was on my side list going into the open already. I'm going to put this on our main list, MOR. Give it another look here. Don't mind it. This also has some good resistance around 18-ish, right? Like 1820-ish if you're looking from like the long-term chart. And it's not as clean. It did drop off pretty steady, but we're talking back from June into July of 21, and it spiked down there pretty nicely back in 2020 during the pandemic. 1820, right? 18-ish. So that could be a nice level to work off of today. What else? We have Ford earnings. We got Run pushing up as well. So Ford's more flat. I had this on the pre-market list just in case, but it is flat. That's normally what you should expect out of that trade. I mean, maybe as a swing, it could be different, but as a day trade, the guy Bill will tell you, he knows that is a slow one. That's why I like Super now. But, Run has been making a pretty good push, at least since after hours. And you know what? I mean, both of them I'll kind of put on the side for right now. They're both tradable. But I like all the others that we have on our main list just first. And as we head over to the loser side, I don't like taking pride in seeing a company tank. I mean, not too much at least. I don't have like any vendetta against Snapchat, but this company sucks. Just their app, the social media behind it. They target a younger audience, and I'm surprised that they've maintained that younger audience for as long as they have. But where you compare it to other social media platforms like X, Twitter, or Facebook, Meta, those companies have at least kind of spun off in some variation to do something different to try and grow the company. Obviously, Facebook with AI, right, and deep learning. So Zuck obviously is captaining that pretty well. Like him or hate him either way, like he's spun off from the social media stuff into AI. He's integrating that into the social media. But now Elon with X, well, it's like a lot more about not just the free speech and making sure it's not being censored, but he's also doing things like with crypto involved with X and Twitter. He's looking to do it at least. So, different things like that, it sparks interest and it continues growth. Snapchat, what they're doing is they're trying to find different ways to cater to a younger audience, which over time, I guess could help sustain the company. Over time, there's always new people being born, right? We're getting older. There's new people coming up. So that is one thing. But I mean, I lived through Snapchat when I was in high school, college, and afterwards. And I grew off it because I just realized not only is it like just for a younger audience, but I felt like it was just going to die off. There's other social media companies that weren't publicly listed that just fell off over the years. For anyone that might remember Vine, right? And that's like an older one. But, that is one that catered to a younger audience, and they're nowhere now. TikTok, I mean, they've done well enough already, but they're more recent. They haven't been around as long as Snapchat has. So why is Snapchat not really growing as much as Facebook? And I mean, obviously Twitter private now, not publicly listed, but Twitter was pretty good for a little while. Snapchat here, either way, enough me talking. I'm just going to put this on our watch list as a short. It is down big already. It is dropping back down now below 12. Maybe later on in the day, you could see a potential dead cat bounce. Sam says, I thought all the kids were on TikTok, or am I too old? Yeah, no, TikTok's the new wave. It's the new wave. That's like the thing that's like driving competition or driving users away from Snapchat. But they're still relevant towards the younger audience. That's, they're hanging on by a thread. All right, so with that in mind, let's see what else we got. Snapchat is a great short. Look forward to it. Fubo, a little close to ground zero there. Pass there. Perry, BBD, VFC. This one's actually not terrible as far as the chart. If the order book fills in more after the open, I'd give it a look, but we'll pass. Not really a great need for it right now. And that pretty much is it. I mean, I'll just take a look at the market altogether, folks. The current time is 9:15. I would not be shorting this market, as I've been saying for a long time now. So, hey, there's a couple stocks, like it said, that you could try and find a short on, but with the way the market's pushing, let's respect this first and foremost. I really, at this stage, how could you not think that the SPY is not going to try and test 500? You know what I mean? Like, we're pretty much there. So whether SPY 500 or SPX 5000, whatever comes first there, it's basically going to be programmed at this point, right? Maybe you wouldn't have thought that 2 months ago, 3 months ago, if you were a bear, but now with this breaking all-time highs and getting as close as it has been, guys, we're seeing 5,000, and we're probably going to see it pretty soon. Let's not short the market right now, please. You know what I mean? So with that said, hey, best of luck trading going to the market open, folks, on YouTube, Facebook Live, etc. All of us on social media. At Cyber Trading You is our YouTube channel. Just make sure to like and follow and subscribe right there. Otherwise, we'll catch back with everyone at 2:30 Eastern. If you're interested in joining us inside our live trading room, just join us by scanning the QR code on the top left of the stream. Get your live access for a week-long trial with myself, the man himself, Fausto. He will be back tomorrow, I believe. And all of our students, Michael, Ravina, Sam, Leda, etc., all of us there. I look forward to chatting with you all coming up shortly. Take care.